Good evening to you, our dear viewer. My name is John Jimmy Musimbi, and this evening we are discussing how to discipline a child. Now, my guest tonight is Dr. Hanifa Ssengendo, the CEO of Stepping a Stone platform, and here we begin the conversation. Dr. Hanifa, you're most welcome to News at 8.
Thank you very much, JJ, because I heard you were Jimmy. Jimmy. Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, starting us off in this conversation, discipline, what do we understand by discipline, first of all? Because everybody interprets it their own way, that's why others abuse it.
Really, every parent and everybody, like even on the road and at nationwide, you want people who are disciplined, people who do what they are expected to do in the right time, in the right place. But now we are introducing a different subject that has child. Disciplining a child is something that is very challenging, but it is important, and it's what makes us be called parents, because a parent is a guardian, meaning that you should guide, or you should be a guard and guard your child. But the way you guard is what is actually what we call the way we are disciplining.
Now, doctor, I would love to understand at what age exactly should a parent start disciplining their child?
It doesn't have a very clear age, but for me, from my personal experience, disciplining should actually begin the moment the child is born. For us mothers, we know that these kids, even if he's still a baby, you can actually do certain signals and they understand that they have wronged. I will give an example. If a baby is breastfeeding and they bite you, do you know you can give them one eye and they release the teeth? So that is a form of disciplining. It is just the intensity, the language, and how you should really discipline that matters. For example, I wouldn't expect a parent to, well, I don't really believe so much in beating, but at a point in time, you can discipline with a little corporal punishment that is controlled. I'm sure you are saying I don't know the law. I know the law gives it, like in schools, we are not supposed to give corporal punishments. But if I give a little, if I spank a little, that may be part of they would be called corporal punishment. The truth is, the disciplining of a child depends on the way you have created the environment in your home. I remember when we were growing up, do you know our parents used to just eye us? There were different eyes. The parent, you were in public and they eye you like that. That is a form of discipline. There is a way you can discipline by removing some incentives. Particularly myself, for example, my son goes for football. If he misbehaves, I withdraw the football. I say tomorrow you are not going for football. Or if it is watching TV, or it is, getting something that they like. The only thing that you should not discipline by removing certain important human rights. For example, if you say I'm disciplining by not giving you food, I may delay the food, but not giving you food is an extreme. Or beating you to an extent that you are harming. There is disciplining and there is just, punishing because out of anger, because you are angered. You get what I mean? Disciplining should be aimed at having a behavior change. You cannot do behavior change when I'm crying. When you are actually hurting me, I am bleeding. Then I will not have behavior change. Why? Because I'll be focusing on the pain. Parents have burnt their children's fingers, I'm busy feeling the pain. Then I'm not really focusing on why I shouldn't steal. So disciplining nowadays should really focus on one. Let's try to use like sort of measures that are not harsh. Why? Because we are in the world where we are in globalization. Children watch and they know they are not supposed to be beaten. But I keep telling my children that even if I don't beat you, but you have to be disciplined and you have to remain responsible.
Doctor, you highlight about a little corporal punishments. But some parents have actually abused it. We've seen viral videos online showing parents who actually have their own frustrations and they have abused this. Don't you think it's high time legislation is done to end corporal punishments completely?
Not even in the developed world that there is totally nothing. The only thing is the intensity, because I told you, even if I do like this, that's probably a corporal punishment. But really, I know that the government policy, the beating should not happen in school. But remember that these children are in our homes. Right now, they are in our homes for over 3 months. And we know that disciplining begins at home. So, the definition of how to discipline a child should be part of, like now we are in the parish model development, parish development model policies, guidelines. Let's have guidelines for government to define for us how should we discipline our children. But otherwise, we have different cultures, we have different religious backgrounds. How do you discipline a child in this era? That's what I keep saying. Don't mind what government says. You see, even people break traffic rules, even if they are very comprehensive. What about when you are alone in the house? Disciplining should really be specific to what the child has committed. A child who has not laid their bed, they don't really deserve like being locked out of the house, being beaten, let's discipline, first of all, by trying to be role models. Do you know you tell a child that don't eat while making noise, but you eat while making noise. And then when they eat making noise, you give them a slap on the what? And then the child is wondering. So disciplining should begin by you being a role model. 2, most of the disciplining I have seen nowadays, because things are changing, you don't have to beat. One of my co-directors used to tell teachers at school that, do you know, if you tell a student that remove your shirt the whole day, they will feel the pain other than beating them. Why? You know, when they are growing up, they say, you beat, you finish, I go. But when he's in an open body up the whole day, he will feel shy. Tell girls, remove your shoes as a mode of disciplining, and you move around the compound. They will feel the shyness and it will stick. Other than beating, because beating is hurting, H-U-R-T. Hurting does not cause behavior change. Yes, we used to be beaten. Let's not stick to our many old things. Did we have phones when we were growing up? Because some parents are saying, for us, we used it too. Did we have phones? Did we have smartphones even? What is the mode of communication that we had? So the mode of disciplining should keep changing. Let's do more talking and explaining. The other day I was meeting parents and I told them that, my dear parents, these days nowadays, tell your children the reasons behind the rules. For example, if you tell them that we should not be using phones at night, tell them why that is dangerous. Because nowadays, in this era of internet, the children have whys. Are you a father yet? Not?
Yes, I am.
You are. You will note that now you are not like Adrian. Nowadays, children ask why. You say, please eat at the dining table. Why? Because it's good we are together. Why should we be together? Because it helps to dissolve. Children want reasons. So even when we are disciplining, let's do more giving reasons behind the rules. Let's be role models, but also let's have time and sit with our children to explain the values in the home. Sometimes as parents, we tell children things to do, but we have never told them. For the schools, when children enter schools, they tell them, don't dress like this. You should not be fighting. When you fight, you should be expelled. Do we copy that and emulate it to our homes? Now the children are in home, we are entering the new year. You know, have you sat down to set some values that even if it's a new year, we don't probably hit walls, we don't break stuff, we don't dress anyhow because we are entering new year? It is upon you as a parent, first of all, to instill values, explain these values. Don't just reinforce the values without explaining them.
Now, doctor, you seem to suggest that parents are disciplining children, but they have not done enough to prepare them, so they punish them for things they have actually not even uh, told them about. How best then can parents safeguard their children?
Let's first of all be role models. Children get the behavior change comes with what they see first. Because even if I say that my daughter don't dress when the breasts are popping out, if I as the mother is dressing that way, then I'll be sending a signal. Let's be role models. Let's get time and explain to our children what are the values, what are the discipline areas. Like I said, in schools, they tell you don't do ABCD. Nowadays, explain the don'ts, but explain the reasons behind the dots. Because the children keep asking why. They will look at internet. What's the disadvantage of beating? And then they keep telling you that, you know, we are not supposed to be beaten, or we are not supposed to do this. For example, for me, I keep telling my children that, yes, I know you have children rights. Because these days they say, even when I'm in Stepping Stone, some children keep saying, but Dr. Honey, we have child rights. I tell them, child rights come with responsibilities. It's not just a matter of saying, I have rights, I have rights. No. First of all, as a parent, I am the authority in this home. Meaning that I should show that authority by the way I do, by the way I talk. You keep saying, don't shout at people. But you are the mother who's shouting at what? At people. You get what I mean? So let's really try to explain reasons why we need to reinforce some of the what? Some of the disciplinary measures. And let's not stick to our old ways all the time. I have parents who come to Stepping Stone and say, for us, emiaka jaffe, children used to listen. These days they don't listen. First check yourself. Probably you as a person who is trying to instill discipline, you are the one who is not doing it the right way. Because the world is changing. Meaning even the way we discipline should change. We should be talking to our children. We should be mentoring our children. We should be providing our children with role models. People whom they can emulate and say, oh my God, when I look at this person, I like the way they talk, I like the way they whatever. But if children are just seeing people who are walking over like lame people, who are just taking drugs and all those things, then they will not be helped. So disciplining or providing punishments should really be much of talking, much of providing role models, much of actually also consulting and asking people like us who are senior disciplinarians.
Dr. Hanifa, thank you so much for making time for News at 8. It's been a pleasure and hope we shall always engage you in such conversations.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward.
Well, such a rich conversation on how to discipline a child. I hope any parent out there has indeed listened and taken notes of this. My guest has been Dr. Hanifa, the CEO of Stepping, a Stone platform which grooms children into better citizens. As of now, I remain John Jimmy Musimbi. Good night.